Continue with the build-up to this highly anticipated case. Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, and the National Commissioner, Fannie Masemola, going head-to-head in the High Court in Pretoria this morning. It's set to kick off at 10 o'clock before a full bench of the court. Sibiya is arguing that the decision by his boss to put him on a leave of absence is unlawful. Masemola insists he is well within his rights to take this kind of action. Let's get to the take of a Labour lawyer. Patrick Deale, thanks for joining us this morning. It's great to have your perspective on this story. Does this matter in terms of, let me ask it this way. Does normal Labour law apply in this kind of situation when it's a high-ranking, the two highest-ranking police officers in the country?
Yes, it does. He is subject to the disciplinary processes in terms of the SAPS police system. And so the answer is yes, he is subject to the disciplinary procedures. And what his complaint is, one of his aspects of complaint, is that the commissioner has not complied with that procedure. And that is why he's not applied to the Labour Court in terms of the disciplinary inquiry to say that his suspension is unfair. He's rather gone to the High Court to say that it is unlawful in terms of the Promotion and Administration of a Justice Act, which has got to do with the decision-making powers and authority of the National Commissioner of the Police. So that's the basis upon which he's challenging it. And so what is interesting about this thing is the manner in which the so-called suspension has been framed. It has been framed not as a suspension from employment pending the outcome of a disciplinary inquiry. It is in fact a leave of absence. It's an enforced leave of absence rather than a suspension. Now, it may sound semantic to frame it in that way or to make that distinction, but I think it is an important one. There's no such thing in the disciplinary code for an enforced leave of absence. And a leave of absence is normally something that happens by request. It's voluntary for some family issue and so on, where you say, listen, I need to take some time out, instead of being forced under these circumstances to take it. And I think that's the sort of the territory that we're in insofar as Labour law is concerned.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I suppose my question was around the fact that such serious allegations were made against Shadrack Sibiya. I mean, he's not an ordinary employee of a corporation based in Johannesburg or wherever else. He occupies an incredibly powerful position in the police, and serious allegations have been made against him. There is, of course, the other issue of the inquiry looking into SAPS corruption based on the explosive allegations made by the KZN Police Commissioner. Do any of these things matter, Patrick? And I suppose the question is, will the court take any of these things into account today?
I think the answers are yes and yes, Michelle. The greater context of this thing is really, I think, where the court is going to pay its attention. I don't think it's going to pay, well, it will pay attention to the more employment-related issues. Just to finish on that aspect of it, you know, the first issue is whether there's urgent or not urgency, and the second one, whether it's in terms of the employment, codes. So I think that the Sibiya is quite strong on both of those points. But just on the macro scale, you know, look at the bigger picture here. This goes right up to the very top, actually up to the president. That's the context within which this whole thing is happening. And going from the top down, the president has appointed the Commission of Inquiry, headed by Justice Madlanga, to oversee all of these serious allegations that General Mkhwanazi has made about the relationship between politicians and gangs and the judiciary. I mean, these are allegations of the most serious possible kind. So there's an overall judicial commission of inquiry that sits above all of these localized employment issues that the court is going to deliberate on at 10 o'clock today. And the court most certainly will take this context into account. And when it does so, it will pay attention to essentially the public interest. What is in the public interest in the greater scheme of things in relation to how things are going to be worked? Because what is happening now, in my view, it will take the view that things need to settle down within the system. Decisions that have been made will be determined ultimately by this commission. Like, for example, the very issue that Sibiya has been put on leave for, and that is for his alleged unlawful abandonment of the political killings task team and removal of the dockets. Those are the core issues, or very important issues, which the commission is going to be determining. And so decisions that have been made already on those issues appear to be preemptive of what the commission may determine, may consider, and let alone determine ultimately, which it's going to be his task. And I think that this is Sibiya's most useful avenue to oppose his leave of absence suspension, based on the fact that the very issue that he's been suspended for has been already decided. And whether it's right or wrong is another issue, but the public perception is that he's been found guilty already of it, even though he hasn't been dismissed or anything like that, before it's been deliberated on by this commission. And I think that that starts to point fingers in all different directions in this overall complex matrix of different institutions going to right to the very top of the government institutions. And I think the court will look at it overall and just say it's not in the public interest that Sibiya be on suspension during this period of time, because negative inferences will automatically be made against him, and that he should be restored. They might put certain conditions in place to restore order and a sense of calm and stability as much as is possible while the investigation is taking place. So it is essential, I think, that to look at it in the bigger picture. So that, in summary, Michelle, I think that he's got reasonable chances of success in today's deliberations to get reinstated back into his position for that purpose.
I wonder what the court will say about his approach to the High Court on an urgent basis, given that there are all these other parallel processes happening, Patrick, particularly the Madlanga inquiry.
Well, that is the commission, the Malanga, as I say, I think that is his strongest point. He said, listen, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry must determine these things, not this court, and not the National Commissioner. That's the parallel. He reckons that it's the National Commissioner who's running a parallel process, which replaces the one that the overall commission is going to take. And if you look at the grounds for urgency, that's the first hurdle anyone must get over in an application such as this for urgent remedy. And that is that there must not be any other immediate remedy. There must be evidence on the face of it of irreparable harm that may be caused. He might, that might be debatable, but also the prima facie prospects of success. I mean, what are the prospects of success in it? And if the court comes to the idea on the basis of urgency that there may be prospects of success, for example, as one of the elements, that in itself could be preempting what the commission has to determine about whether he was right or wrong, or whether he did or did not abandon or close down the political killings task team. And so can you see already that the preemptive decision-making conflicts with what the role of the commission is going to be? And also it's the balance of convenience. Surely there's also that also suits the Sibiya to say, look, why should I be prejudiced when there's this larger inquiry going, that I should be inconvenienced when I haven't had an opportunity to express myself about these things. And just lastly, very importantly too, is the public interest and the trust in the judiciary, if he were, under these circumstances, to be taken out of the picture and basically put on cold storage while this whole commission takes place, and having then to participate as a key role player in the commission as a suspended employee of the police. So there are too many, I think, complications, too many contradictions that would come into it if he were to remain on suspension or enforced leave of absence, which I don't think, right from the very beginning is an enforceable proposition.
Patrick Deale, let me thank you for your time this morning.